Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be discussing about strategic sourcing, what it is, what are the benefits of strategic sourcing, and what are the ways that you can implement this in your organization. I'll also provide some tips and techniques that you can use to maximize the sourcing process within your organization. So let's jump right in. So in today's world, let's take Apple, Tesla, or Rivian, any organization. They have to figure out what they want to buy, where they want to buy it, who they want to buy it from, and how they want to pay for this product. This complex decision making is actually driven or managed by a department known as procurement or sourcing within the organization.
Before going into the strategic sourcing process, I just wanted to show you visually where procurement sits in the overall supply value chain.
So the procurement or sourcing division is responsible for buying or coordinating the raw material purchase. They purchase it and they coordinate the delivery to the manufacturing plant. The manufacturing plant then ends up producing the product and then working with their logistics or distribution team to basically get the product either to the warehouse or to the customer. So as you can see, the procurement or sourcing team sits upstream to ensure that we can actually have the maximum value in the acquisition cost of the raw material or the product that you're looking or your organization is looking to use. So then the question comes in, what is strategic sourcing? Simply put, strategic sourcing is a structured framework that allows the sourcing of goods, services, or anything with the sole objective of maximizing value and minimizing cost. It can also be used to identify potential suppliers that your organization can partner with to innovate new solutions and also negotiate long-term contracts with a focus on favorable terms and also focus on risk management. The question is, what is the structured process? Well, the structured process is called the 7-step sourcing process. And it's a sequence of steps that you need to take. And if you follow that correctly and in sequence, you can ensure that you will maximize value, you will establish a robust contract and a long-term sourcing strategy. So then what are the 7 steps, right? So the 7 steps starts with the category assessment, followed by strategy development, going into collateral development. Then you do your RFP management, RFP analysis, negotiations, and last but most importantly, your award and implementation. All right, so the first stage is the category assessment stage. This is one of the most important stages and the most foundational stages of this overall process. This is a stage where you're gathering information to understand what is your spend, what are the different items that you're sourcing, who are the different players from suppliers that are influencing this category, and also to understand who are your stakeholders, because you might actually have multiple departments using the same product, so you want to make sure you actually have them in that decision-making table. And more importantly, you're also validating your spend. Do you have the right spend number? Because that's going to really be a big strength or lever in your negotiation process. And you also have a buy-in from them. So it's really important that you're spending a lot of time on this stage because this stage can make or break your overall process. And you really want to make sure that you know your stuff. Going from category assessment, we go into strategy development. This is a stage where you want to build your strategy. And to understand a strategy, you want to understand what are the market dynamics at play, what are the different external factors that are going to be influencing your sourcing process. So if you take, for example, for the past few months where the car market has not necessarily been favorable, I don't think it would have been a great idea to buy a car at that time until it was absolutely necessary. So these are the factors that you want to consider when you're doing that. And this also means that you need to understand what are the suppliers you want to engage. So the landscape might have changed from where it was previously to where it is today. So therefore, it's important that you incorporate that. As well as you want to understand what is your savings methodology. Generally speaking, savings is calculated by your old price times volume minus your new price times volume. So technically speaking, your new price is lower, therefore you get savings. But you want to establish that process or that methodology so that way you know that this is how you're going to calculate savings. So after your strategy development stage, you go into the collateral development. Now, this is another important stage. And I would say in some cases is more critical because this is your supplier-facing collateral documents that you're going to be sharing for the RFP process. So in this stage, you're building out your communication plan. You're also building out the different collateral like an RFP document, a bid sheet, bid analysis document, the specification sheets if your product's a really engineered product. You're looking at SOWs, statement of works, supplier questionnaire, and also supplier financial. And it's important to understand supplier financial. It's generally overlooked, but you want to make sure that you're partnering with a supplier that is financially sound and can actually provide and support your products in the long term. The more time you spend on this, the more structured you are in your process and in your collateral, the more easier it's going to become downstream. All right, so RFP management. This is one of the most important stages as well, because this is where you're sitting back and waiting for the suppliers to respond, ask questions, and make sure that you can provide guidance to them so that they can put together a strong proposal. So here you're kicking off the RFP. RFP stands for request for proposal, and I'll go in a different video what the difference is between RFP, RFI, and RFQ. You're also collecting vendor questionnaires, so you're trying to answer any questions that they may have about the product, about the specifications, about the different processes that they need to follow. You're also confirming their intent. Do they really want to participate in this RFP? And are they going to be aligned to the deadlines? And now you're sitting and actually doing the analysis. The first step you need to do in this is you want to review the bids for completion and accuracy. And what I mean by completion is you want to ensure that they've bid on all the different items that you've actually asked for pricing on. If they're not able to bid on those, you want to make sure they probably have a alternative product, or they're truly ruling themselves out for those specific items. So that's a decision that you'll build into your scenario building process. The other piece is the accuracy. And this is important because, for example, if you're bidding or submitting a bid sheet, which actually is bidding for a pen, and the pen, let's say, is $2, but the supplier submitted a proposal which actually had the same exact pen, but it's a box of 20. But because the unit of measures are different, you might see a significant increase in the cost. So therefore, you might be scratching your head, like, why is there a price increase? So it's important to understand that there's an accuracy on that. And this is a great opportunity for you to ask some questions back to the supplier, like, was this truly your intent to increase the pricing? Is it intent to give us a price increase? So it's important for you to kind of reaffirm that. And then that's why you're comparing apples to apples. And last but not least, you're actually building out scenarios. So after your RFP analysis, this is a time where you become Harvey Specter, or you're kicking off your negotiations. And it's important because you want to identify the different roles. So you have the stakeholders, you have the suppliers, you have your own team members. You want to ensure that you actually have defined roles as to who's going to do what. You're also understanding what are your wants versus needs. And this is really important to redo this because over the course of your RFP, those are bound to change. So you want to make sure that you actually have that. And most importantly, what is your walkaway position, because you might not necessarily get exactly what you want or need or you asked for, but you know that there's a place in which you can walk away and you'll still be in a better spot. So it's important to understand your walkaway position. All right. So the award and implementation phase is started once the negotiations are concluded. So your negotiations are over. You've built the RFP, you've done the scenario analysis, and you're actually building this with the suppliers. So you're getting internal stakeholder sign-off. So you're kind of working with your different parties to make sure that they're aligned to it. Once they are aligned, you get the sign-off. Then you actually are making sure that you are executing the contract, and you're providing a preliminary award notification. So you're not necessarily telling the supplier that, yes, you've got the business, but like, hey, we're leaning towards you as the winner, but this is contingent upon the contract being executed. So once the contracts are executed, then you jump into the award notice, where you're officially putting the award notice to the vendor saying that you are officially the winner of this bid and we're going to be moving towards you awarding the business. And this is the date in which you want to transition over. And at the same time, you also want to provide the other suppliers that participated some sort of feedback, letting them know why they did not win. And that way you're actually keeping all the doors open. You're building that relationship across the board. And that would basically conclude the overall 7-step sourcing process, where you've kind of gone from the initial category assessment and all the way down to over here. So then the last piece that we have that we want to answer here is, what are the benefits of strategic sourcing? You've done all this whole process, you've done the analysis. What is the benefit? Well, there are a lot of values that you can derive from the strategic sourcing process. Namely, the first piece is you can differentiate between your want versus your need. And you want to make sure that you're striking a healthy balance. And this process will help you get that. You're also identifying and planning for risk. Need I say, January of 2020, pandemic happened, PP supplies, everything went off. And that's why risk is becoming a critical part of the sourcing process. You're also enabling your organization to achieve financial goals. And this is through cost savings or cost avoidance, and also through other innovative solutions. You're allowing the organization to benchmark with the market. So you're now, through this process, you know where the organization is, where the market's heading in terms of a pricing, and therefore you know that you're getting a competitive price. You're allowing for identification and selection of suppliers. So you're trying to see, okay, fine, who can actually meet our requirements, who can exceed our requirements, and who is a supplier that you want to partner with. So it's a good supplier engagement and supplier relationship management tool. It also improves efficiency and allows for organization to focus on critical products. So think about it this way. If you have all the right products, you've got a sourcing strategy, you've got the supplier in place, you don't have to worry about it day to day. You're not babysitting that on a day-to-day process. So now you can focus on other projects that will add more value, and therefore you're not sitting on these things. And then going on further, you're ensuring that there's innovative collaboration. So you might have thought that there's only one way to solve a problem, but the supplier might actually, based on their experience, provide some other perspective. So it's important to take all those into the overall picture and make a comprehensive decision. Therefore, it's important to actually do this process on a regular cadence. 3 to 5 years, you want to take that category back out because you want to see what's the innovative solutions that are there in the market that you can bring back in. And most importantly, you can enable the organization to establish a robust contract with favorable terms. And this is really important because if you engage a supplier relationship and you're trying to build a partnership with a supplier, you want to make sure that there's a contract that is beneficial for both organizations. Hey guys, there you have it. This is the strategic sourcing process, the ways you can implement this, and the benefits that you would get by implementing such a process in your organization. Most organizations follow some similar processes. They might call the stages differently, but it's just more of a potato thing. So the core factors or the core steps that you need to take are still here that I've explained and walked through. I will be posting more videos on the sourcing process. I'll probably go into in depth with each stage. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in. And if there's any other topics that you are interested in that you would like me to cover, please mention them down below in your comments and I'll be more than happy to look them in for you. So with that, thank you very much for stopping by and I'll see you on the next one.